We are less than 2 weeks away from the World Deadlift Championships, and whether 505 happens or not, I think we could potentially have the most impressive list of deadlifters in one competition going head to head. This is going to be absolutely epic. I'm going to quickly run through some of the athletes that we've got here, and then Liz and myself are going to look at some of the numbers they've been lifting in the gym. And we're going to talk about whether we think 505 is possible, who we think is going to come out on top and win this. And the exciting thing for me is potentially how many guys in this show could go over 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
This is, for me, this is where the really exciting bit comes in. Not so much the 505, but how strong in depth we are at deadlifting now as a strength community. It's progressed so rapidly quickly. 2010, Brian Shaw and myself set the world record at 430 kilos. I was doing myself an injustice there.
Yeah, little.
But even 430 now, it seems like such a small number. Almost everyone in this list can smash past that. Which is,
oh yeah, definitely. And you know, you have to credit Eddie. He kind of opened those floodgates, didn't he? It's like the 10-minute mile. Once that barrier is broken.
4-minute mile. Liz is the one doing the 10-minute mile.
If I'm lucky.
So, the 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Eddie Hall
With his 500 kilo. Half Thor took it up 1 kilo. A lot of people don't like that it went up only 1 kilo.
A lot of people don't realise that prior to Eddie smashing it to 500, him and Benny were doing 1 kilo at a time, weren't they? So that's not unusual. That's very, very normal. Just like in racing. Fractions of a second. In any sport.
Hey, you take a world record. Iron Bibby just broke the axle record by 1 kilo. We've seen many records broken by 1 kilo. It's not uncommon.
No.
But the World Championship, Deadlift World Championships, they're not going for 1 kilo. They're going for 4
kilos.
So we've got, they've got to get to that first. I think it's going to be a real interesting battle to see who wins.
Yes.
Because we've seen some incredible numbers. Absolutely incredible. Let's quickly go through this list because just recently we've seen some impressive lifting. Now, the final list of athletes has not been announced yet.
No, and I have been creeping around Mr. Bryce.
We've been trying to find out. It's just a couple of athletes are having travel issues.
Yeah.
But there is a good likelihood that most of these guys will be competing. And I know for a fact that
they're training
some of them are definitely competing. Starting with the first man on the list, Adam Bishop has just pulled 427 kilos and he made it look super impressive. Super strong. He's looking like he's peaking perfectly for this.
And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Adam, even though I don't think in perfect conditions with perfect prep for everyone, Adam would be one of the top 2 or 3. I think he could be because Adam is so smart and he knows exactly how to peak for a competition. He's
very good at saving his biggest lifts for comps. And I truly believe he's going to be around somewhere between the 455 and 470 mark.
It's going to depend so much on the weight jumps.
Absolutely true.
Which we don't know, do we?
We need to fish and see what kind of jumps they're going to be.
I'm trying.
It's all going to... The jumps will come down to... They probably won't announce the jumps till very close to the show because they want to see who actually gets there, who realistically has a shot at records, and then how do they split guys in terms of winning overall. You kind of... I know they want the record, but you want winners as well.
Yeah.
Particularly with this many great athletes going head to head. But Adam... Although maybe not the biggest lift in terms of in the gym, you saw how well it moved, which is always a good indicator that, he's peaking well. One of the worst things you can see from an athlete is them really struggling with their last heavy lifts. If they're struggling in the gym, they're starting to burn out, overtrain, and there's a likelihood that we see them underperform in competition. Looking at Adam's lift there, he's got plenty more in the tank. I expect him to lift a lot more than this on the day.
So next is... For me personally, one of the people I'm most excited to see, we haven't met this guy, have we? But we've seen some incredibly impressive things from him. Asko Karu. I said his name right. Asko Karu. Karu. So he hasn't posted any deadlift videos on his Instagram since May the 21st. And I do believe that is a measured thing that he's done. He did say that he wouldn't be posting anymore. He's playing his cards close to his chest. But he posted 468 kilos for 2 repetitions.
Absolutely mental. I mean, we've both spoken to Asko a number of times now. Incredibly strong guy, amazing deadlifter. I'm super excited to see this guy compete in a live show, see him against the best guys in the world. What he's done in the gym over the last year is just mental. I mean, these kind of numbers are absolutely crazy.
And most of it without a suit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so he's someone I'm very, very excited to see. We've not seen him in a Giants live show before. I'm pretty sure he's just coming for the deadlift.
Yeah.
I know a couple of guys are just doing the deadlift, even though they've been announced as doing the full show. The deadlift is kind of what they're focusing on, and Asko is here to have a legitimate crack at the world record. As Liz said, he's not posted anything recently.
No.
So interesting to see kind of where he's at, but I am super excited to see what he does on the day.
I'm rooting for him.
So our next lifter is Ivan Makarov. Now, Ivan is a monster deadlifter. He's probably had more shots at the world record than most people. Unfortunately, hasn't quite been able to perform when it's been going for the world record numbers.
He's got 500 to the knees, hasn't he?
I think he's got 500 knees, and he's done some incredibly heavy 400 kilo pulls. Here we've got him in the gym just a few days ago, actually, pulling 472 kilos for a double.
Just a couple of days ago. This is quite late now, isn't it? It's a week and a half. They've got to factor in travel time. Would you be deloading at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, would you?
I wouldn't have gone that heavy this close, personally. No. My personal...
Not to criticise the
feeling,
man, obviously. I don't.
Every athlete is different.
Yeah.
Now, as impressive as this lift is, you can see he's really having to hitch, and he's struggling towards that lockout. And it's the lockout that's really been where it's let him down in the past in terms of going for those big numbers.
Yeah.
His power off the floor is incredible. It's when it comes to glute strength, locking out, where he's not quite as efficient as, say, someone like Thor was when he was kind of pulling. Now, I've been talking to a few big lifters, actually, some of the guys that are competing, and I think some of them have gone a bit too heavy, too close to the show. We're talking less than 2 weeks out now. Me personally, I've never lifted what these guys are lifting, so I don't want to kind of say they're wrong or right, but it's from personal experience, looking at, talking to Eddie Hall, how he peaked, talking to Hafthor Bjornsson. Now, Hafthor did his last big pull 12 days before his competition, but he pulled it very easily. Now, that's a big difference when you're looking at some of these guys. The percentages you work at are your percentages. You can't say, because that guy pulled 500, I'm going to use the same protocol that he used. We're all different lifters. We're all different strength levels. Just because you both lift the same number 12 weeks out, there's going to be a difference between how you both lifted it. And that's, where a good coach is going to know what sort of percentages you should be using. I think Ivan is a monster dead. I mean, these 472 for a double is just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Probably the biggest number I think we'll see on this list. There's only one guy that's lifted more in terms of weight, but
for a single.
Yeah, it's just a mental number to go through. It's just, for me personally, I kind of always worry when I watch him peaking for these shows that he leaves a little bit too much in the gym. That being said, let's see what he can do on the day.
Who are we to criticise? So next then we have Nedzmin and Beskovic, who we last saw in person at least at the Wembley Giants live show at the Deadlift Championships there. He was brilliant, but he was quite disappointed with his performance, wasn't he? Do you remember?
He was. I think he was apologising backstage for not performing as well as he could.
On stage, he was apologising on mic.
He's looking very, very strong.
Yeah.
He's actually working with the Australian strength coach, who obviously was a coach to Hafthor Bjornsson. Very, very good, knowledgeable coach, understands how to peak for these events, has trained people to break world records. So for me, a very good kind of choice of coach.
Yeah.
Nedzmin looking super strong, pulling a PB in the gym just 1 week ago of 455 kilos. And to me, it looks like there's a little bit more in the tank. There's no way Nedzmin is going there to pull 505.
No.
But with some smart kind of jumps and selections in terms of weight, he's going to be challenging. If he can perform at his best, and some of those, potentially bigger lifters have exhausted their central nervous system and aren't as good, he's going to be jumping up the list, and potentially another man that's going to go over 1,000 pounds. So the next lifter that I'm really excited to see in person is Pavlo Nekonechny. Now Pavlo is just ridiculous.
He's a monster.
From the Ukraine.
A child monster.
He's got like this baby face. He weighs about 185 kilos. He's got a big rivalry between him and Luke Richardson. Both of them were pretty much the best two junior powerlifters in the world at one point. Both of them going on to be exceptional seniors. This guy's deadlift is seniors. This guy's deadlift though is looking ridiculous. Now in powerlifting, he was a great all-round lifter. Deadlifts were sort of up near the high 300 ends. But since he's now focusing on strongman, allowed to use straps, using a deadlift suit, etc., his deadlift has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
He's a recent video of him pulling 475 kilos, which is one of the biggest deadlifts we've ever seen. He looks extremely focused. He's been documenting his journey on YouTube, so we've been able to follow him. He is a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this guy is massive.
And you think coming from powerlifting also, he knows how to train to peak too.
He's got good coaches around him. He has exceptional technique as well. When you watch the way he lifts, it's very efficient, very effective. He's one of the few guys that really, along with Asko,
gets you excited.
I think he's got a chance.
You're excited, aren't you?
I
can see.
I am. I've never been as excited to see so many great deadlifters in one place.
Yes. Even though we might not see a new world record, it still might be the most exciting because, like you say, the depth of talent.
The depth of talent, the thought process from the athletes, because I'm interested in seeing the numbers that they pick. I'm
interested in seeing the numbers at Bloody Giants live.
This will be an interesting thing as well, because they won't have to do every lift.
No.
At the end of the day, when you're going for a world record, you cannot do every single lift. So there's, when Eddie did it, he went 420, 500, which
didn't he?
He went 420, 465, 500, which they're big jumps.
Yeah, they still are. Yeah.
But you almost have to do that. You can't go 420, 440, 460, 480 because you burn yourself out.
Of course.
So you've got to think, right, that second lift, it's got to move well still. You don't want to be fighting on your second lift, because if you are, that's going to burn you out for the next one.
And is 3 kind of the sweet spot for the amount of lifts that you want to do?
You kind of really don't want to be doing more than that. I mean, you can do warm-up lifts, but they've got to be moving, exceptionally fast. Once you're into those competitive lifts, you don't have that many in you. If you get to the point where you start grinding out lifts, that's going to drain them quickly. So they need to make it look effective. They need to make it look strong. Pavlo is just super strong. He's going to be coming in as one of the favourites. He's eating like a monster. He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. And it's the first time we get to see him at Giants live show. So personally, super excited. I know your favourite is Asko, but I think there's going to be...
There's space for Pavlo,
There's space for Pavlo.
There's space for everyone. Everyone's auntie.
I think it's going to be an epic battle.
Try not to butcher his name, but next on the list is Payam Makarov.
Very good.
Oh, thank you. I married an Iranian.
Payam, he's another guy that's posted up some ridiculous numbers over the last year. I actually spoke to Payam today, and I wanted to kind of figure out if he's coming or not. And he's just got travel issues, like a lot of the guys do. He said 70% likelihood that he can make it. He's looking strong. I had a little bit of a conversation with me. He kind of doesn't really understand peaking.
Okay.
He's someone that doesn't like backing down.
Yeah.
And he's starting to worry that his lifts are getting a bit harder. I said, you got to be backing off now. But we've seen some big numbers, including this 455 kilo raw lift from a couple of weeks back. Looking, strong. I think Payman's biggest issue is lack of experience at big shows. I think we've seen some incredible gym lifts for him. I really hope he can recover fully. I hope he can get across. That stress of not knowing is always tough for an athlete. It's tough for the Iranians. They can't get to America right now. It's difficult to travel anywhere else. It must be so hard because you put all this effort into building yourself up to compete in these international shows. If he doesn't get the chance to come, it's going to be disappointing for them.
Yeah, it will be. And, it's a shame because he's almost definitely going to have to come alone as well. That's hard, isn't it?
It is. I mean, hopefully he'll be able to. Well, hopefully, firstly, he gets to come.
Yeah.
Secondly, if he can bring someone with him, great. We'll try our best to look after him.
Yeah, because there's the language barrier as well. He doesn't speak fluent English, does he?
He doesn't speak any English, to be honest.
Have Google Translate on the
go. but Payam has really been impressive over the last year. I don't know that he's 505 material, but again, he is another lifter that's definitely capable of going over 1,000 pounds. And now, we're looking at a whole list of, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential guys that could go over 1,000 pounds. And that isn't even including guys like the current world's strongest man, Tom Stoltman, and, last year's world's strongest man. There's so many great athletes that are competing in this Deadlift World Championships. It's going to be super exciting. We've got 2 more athletes that we're going to look at very quickly, starting with
Rauno Heinler. Rauno is back. God bless him. So Rauno's lost weight.
He has, but he is starting to peak and looking very, very strong again. He kind of lost some weight. We hadn't seen him compete for a while. Very, very recently, though, 400 for a triple, looking comfortable. And Rauno won the last Deadlift World Championships, or joint first, with Jerry Pritchard.
Never count out Rauno. Is Rauno doing the whole show?
I don't know.
Okay. We do not have confirmation on anything.
I would guess so.
I would have
Rauno
thought
comes
so.
as a strongman normally to most contests. We will talk about the whole show in Manchester in a different video. We wanted to focus just on the deadlift for this one. But Rauno knows how to peak.
Yeah.
He's got world records in the deadlift.
Yeah.
We've seen him lift some big, big numbers. Again, I don't expect a 500 from Rauno.
No.
But he's someone that knows what to lift to win shows.
Yeah, he's smart with it. And he's been on that stage in front of that crowd before. He's going to feel quite comfortable, isn't he?
Do you remember the last time that when it was in Wembley, he made
440.
his 440 was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he just kind of got a hamstring pull and had to, he couldn't then lift more. But he was looking super strong that day.
Fast.
If he's peaking right and feeling good, I think we could see another £1,000 pull, potentially more. I think he's been as heavy as 470 in the gym, which these numbers really, really are
It's
crazy.
mind-boggling. Just literally a year ago, 470 something was the second heaviest deadlift ever pulled, and now we've got guys pulling it in the gym.
Yeah. The exciting thing is, though, to see all these guys head to head, same bar, same conditions, same everything. That's what excites me the most, because we've had this build-up of all these great lifters. Now we're going to get them to collide in the same contest with fans watching, which makes a big difference. It helps. Some people, it'll affect them in a negative way. Some people will feel that pressure. They'll feel, it'll let them get to them. Others, it will raise them. They'll be thinking, there's no way I can fail in front of all these people. They'll get 10, 15 kilos out of themselves and really, rise up on the day and pull something massive. The last lifter I wanted to look at, because we haven't seen him in a Giants live, and I think it's going to be great to see him over here, is Gabriel Pena, the Mexican American.
Texan.
He's from Texas, but represented Mexico at the World's Strongest Man. Another massive deadlifter. Pulled 413 kilos for 3 singles about a month or so ago. He's been focusing on a few more big, heavy rack pulls. Going to be interesting to see how that translates to his standard height deadlift. But it's going to be great to get him over here. He is a massive deadlifter. Again, someone that is capable of lifting over 1,000 pounds.
Hopefully he'll do the whole show as well.
It'd be good to see him do the whole show. I think he will be.
Yeah, do it.
So, I mean, I haven't spoken about Evan Singleton, Ian Bibby, Tom and Luke Stoltman, Alexei Novikov, all great lifters. But you've got a list of guys who've gone through today that are really focused on a massive deadlift. Can any of these guys pull 505? Do you reckon they can?
I think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be between Asko and Pavlo. I think it's one of those two. Asko, man, I'm excited. I hate being teased, Lozzie, and he's not showing us, and I want to see it.
There is some stuff going on with you and Asko.
Pavlo's exciting, isn't he? He's so young.
Yeah.
He's so big and so strong. I can't wait to see what he does as well. Why do you have to do this? There's no innuendos there. There's no innuendos.
Is there innuendos, guys?
Them lift the deadlift. That's all I want to say.
Look, I'm super excited to see them lift as well. Guys, comment below with who you think is going to win the deadlift. It's going to be a monstrous deadlift show. Regardless of world records, I don't think we'll ever see. I'll tell you what, the most impressive deadlift contest I ever saw was the 2016.
Europe's Strongest Man Deadlift World Championships?
No.
Oh.
The World's Strongest Man Deadlift.
Oh. No, that was 2017.
2017, World's Strongest Man Deadlift. That was the most impressive deadlift event I've ever seen, I've been a part of.
Yeah.
I was, lucky enough to be a part of that, and I saw some incredible deadlifting. This, in depth, could be better than that. I think it could be the best lineup of deadlifters we've ever seen, all going head to head. I am super stoked. Make sure you get your tickets.
You can watch it live as well. So it's going to be on officialstrongman.com, which is a monthly membership. But you can cancel straight away. However, they've got so many good competitions coming up now. I think it's worth sticking around on Official Strongman. And it's also on the Facebook events again. So
Giants Live Facebook page.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
So there's your chances to watch it. If you can get to the show live, even better. It's going to be absolutely epic. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.